This video is about AC issues, specifically the AC compressor issues. Or in other words, when AC, you press AC switch or button, and the compressor refuses to spin or to work, or you don't get chilling air inside the vehicle. Now, so what you're looking at on the screen is the AC blower resistor and the connectors. It's not all Peugeot model that have this particular model or component, but at least I know for Peugeot 406, 607, what else? I think 206, I'm not sure, can't remember. They all use this specific type of blower resistor. Of course, the AC blower is it's not actually AC blower, just a heating and ventilation blower. That's what it's called. So the blower, this resistor controls two things which most people don't know about. So that's why I'm doing this video. It's called blower resistor, but actually on these vehicles, at least the 406 and 607, it controls both the compressor. So it's not only when your blower stop working that it means the issue is the resistor or maybe the fuse or something. So this resistor also controls the compressor, at least on these two models I talked about, specifically D9 and D9 Z8 Z9. So if you've done your diagnosis and confirmed that there's enough pressure of gas on the AC system, yet the compressor is refusing to work or to spin. Remember, there's a difference here. The compressor is refusing not to come up, to spin or something. What I would suggest is, before you start messing with or start to touch every other component that controls the compressor, check this blower. Check this blower. The blower can cause it. Not the blower now, the resistor. This resistor can cause it. However, it's not just the resistor itself, but the connectors. Now I'm going to show you another picture. Now, this is the part that mostly affects the compressor, not the blower itself, on the resistor. Now you see this part that I circled. You could see the wiring connector that I circled on the right side, and then on the left side you see on the resistor itself. So this connector, the bigger connector, enters this slot on the resistor. You can see the two of them are of the same size. So what usually happens is, from what I've observed and experienced, is when a part or a particular wire or pin is burnt on this big connector, the compressor will likely not work, even though the blower is working, because people usually focus on this smaller connector, the one that I did not circle, or that slot on the resistor that I didn't circle. They usually focus on that because that's the one that when your blower stop working, if you check that side, you see that it's most likely will be burnt. So that's the one that will affect your blower. But when you come to an AC compressor, the usual one that will affect it is these are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The one with 6 pins. That's the one that will affect it, not the one with 2 pins with the 2 wiring connector. So what I recommend is disconnect, locate your AC or the resistor, the blower resistor, locate it, pull out this big one, not just the small. It's possible that two of them will burn. Both the what's it called? The smaller connector and the bigger connector. It's possible two will burn. The one with two wiring, 2 wires and 6 wires. However, but like I said, when you are diagnosing your compressor, why it's not coming up, focus on this 6 wires connector. It's most likely that's where your problem is. Once any of them burns, or any of those big thicker pins in the middle, it's likely your compressor will not come up. So always disconnect it, pull it out, check if there's any type of burn or melt, either on the resistor itself or on the connector itself. You are likely going to be having that issue. Do not take it for granted or ignore, no matter how small the burn is. So even if you didn't see any burn and you're having that, if you can get another resistor that you are sure that is working, swap it in just to be sure, rule it out that okay, the problem is not the resistor itself, even if there's no burn on it. So don't go and start messing, because depending on the model, remember, like the D9, the BSI controls the compressor and so many other components, So I've had a case where I did my own diagnosis. I didn't find the BSI issue as the cause of the problem, but I needed a second opinion from someone, for another technician or electrician, and the electrician was insisting the problem was on the BSI. I allowed the person to write, since I don't want to claim that I know it all or be it all. Do your own thing, as if you are very sure the problem is from the BSI. Before you know it, it damaged the BSI, and eventually the problem was not from the BSI. Damage the BSI. So that's what I'm saying. Before you start messing around, start from some of these components that works with the compressor or that control the compressor. Rule them out first before you start messing with other bigger components like the BSI or stuff like that. Like I said, there are other things that control the compressor that can make the compressor not to work. It may even be the compressor itself that is bad. But I say start from this list. People usually focus on this resistor only when the blower is not working, or partially working intermittently. But it actually can also control the compressor. So it can make your compressor not to work, or may even spin but not shield very well. So that's what I'm saying. It's not just only the blower that you control. Now, how do you prevent this thing from burning? Avoid using auto mode. Of course, there are 2 auto modes on the AC control system or heating and ventilation system. There is one auto mode of the air distribution. That one is different. I'm talking about auto mode in terms of the temperature. Don't avoid it, especially on D9 and Z8, Z9. Avoid it. There are speed manual setting. Use it if I were you. Avoid that. I understand it can be very convenient to put it on auto mode to regulate itself. But one thing with the auto mode, especially when ambient temperature is very high, or inside the car is very hot, you put it on auto mode. Of course, the blower speed is going to come up very, very high. The speed is going to spin at very high speed for some few minutes. Sometimes it take longer before it now winds down, or the speed will reduce. At that time, it's burning off this wire. These wires will be getting hot. These wiring connectors will be getting very, very hot. As it's getting hot, it start melting, it start burning gradually. Avoid it. I don't usually, for cars self with this resistor, their ACs are very, very good. At least, in other words, average when it comes to the cooling. So you don't necessarily need to go beyond speed 2. when I look at talking about speed 2 blower, you see on the AC control panel, you might see whichever display that is showing you the speed of the blower. You could see like four different 4 blades, like four. You know how fan blade is. You see like four blades on the either the switch or on the display. So I don't go beyond the second blade on all my cars that have this particular system, this particular resistor. The second one, I don't even, sometimes I just stop at 1.5, which is enough to cool the car. Yeah, it may take a little bit while before entire vehicle becomes very cold, but it's better if you want this thing to last for you. If at that time, if at speed 2, it still doesn't chill well after some minutes, then there's a problem with your AC system. Not a matter of how high the speed is. It doesn't necessarily go. Even speed 1 can also chill the car after a few minutes. So it depends on how good your cooling system is, not necessarily how high. Setting it to be so high wouldn't make it so chill if the AC system has a problem. It won't chill as good as you might think. So to prevent this thing from failing, don't go beyond that speed 2. Even if I know sometimes when you start the vehicle, automatically to switch to auto mode, and yes, manually reduce it, deactivate, switch it back to manual, reduce the speed whenever it does that. If you don't want to be having issue with your blower resistor, remember, it's not just about changing the resistor. Sometimes when the resistor dies, it burns those connectors. Now you have to now look for the wiring, one that might still be good, the connectors. You cut off and start cutting the one on the car to join. So avoid all those things. At least you know where you can start your diagnosis, which people don't know about. Like I say, specifically, or at least D9, Z8, Z9. There could be other Peugeot models that use this that I can't remember right now. But at least if you also have this kind of AC components and your compressor is having issue, or even your blower is comes off on or off, or sometimes it won't even come up, start from here. Depending on your car, their locations might differ. So locate where this is mounted and then check the connectors, not just only the blower. And even if there is no burn, try another resistor. No, check the connector, not just the resistor. So even if there's no burn on the connectors or the resistor itself, swapping another resistor that you're sure that is good. Then if there is no burn, or if the compressor still didn't work, then you can go beyond that. Or maybe the blower still didn't work after you swapping another resistor you're sure that's working on another car or something, then you can now go beyond your diagnosis. You take it further beyond this to more like one component you're looking at with the connectors. Okay, hope this makes sense.